and protesters are seeing one of their demands materializing in the parliament, where motions seeking constitutional amendments are being debated. But would they be content with just what the legislators are doing? And tonight, Thai PBS World talks to Dr. Ekapan Pintawanit, Acting Director at Mahidol University's Institute of Human Rights and Peace Studies.
So at this point, do you think it's still not late or not too late for dialogue between the protesters, the students, and the government, the Prime Minister in particular? Because as we know that the Prime Minister himself once or twice promised to have a dialogue with the students, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that never materialized. So do you think there's still time for that to happen?
I think our society is not quite used to with this kind of dialogue. We always have certain conflict resolution means by the winner takes all. Like when we are conflicted with somebody else, we bring the issues to court. The court is also one of the conflict resolution technique. But when you win the case in the court, it means the conflict solved, but the winner takes all.
Yeah.
But we are not used to with like a certain mechanisms that the stakeholders in the conflict are working together and helping each other in order to decide for the solution that is acceptable for all the parties involved.
You know, by rallying at Sanam Luang and then submitting the 10-point demand to the Privy Council to demand reform of the monarchy, my reading is that the student leaders might have played all their cards. Do you think they still have anything left that they can really work on and do?
The thing is like, I think to present the demands to the Privy Council is just only the symbolic. Because like systematically, the Privy Council has nothing to do with all those demands. If the students want to see that this demand is being discussed, because it needs to be discussed, and finally some parts of it could be realized or could be made realistic, it means that it has to pass through several legitimate regulations, for example, like amending of the constitution or redrafting or drafting of the new constitution, which is the channel that they could pursue in order to make this thing realistic.
Yeah.
So then I don't think this is the just only the final card on the that they take to play, but it could be just a kind of a symbolic movement. But the thing is, like, I'm not sure whether what they are going to discuss with, what they are going to propose tomorrow to the Parliament. If it is more systematic, and then of course, like find some tangible demands or the process that the Parliament can take into account in order to make the Constitution amendment and drafting a new one. So that might be helpful.
Now that the Parliament already started debating about the Constitution amendment, would you say that it has achieved one of the goals of the protesters?
The issue of the amending the Constitution has been discussed in the Parliament for over a year. I think even just like recently after the election.
Yeah.
So it's just only a kind of consequences and sequences that it just at the same time, at the same point. And of course, there might be some influences, but the debate on the Constitution amendment is just it just goes with which is by its own mechanism.
And what will be the next move for the protesters then?
I don't think I can answer for them.
Right.
So, but the thing is, like, I believe that right now when this issue already raised in the Parliament, they might be trying to give some pressure to the member of the Parliament, of course, like including senates, who are the keys in order to pass the first readings of this Constitution amendment. So if they can have enough pressure for the Senate. So then the senators, at least 84 senators are encouraged or buying their ideas. So then maybe the first reading would be passing the parliament.
I think what the students are looking for, as in very much like what many of the opposition politicians want to see, that is the setting up of the so-called People's Constitution Drafting Assembly, right? So if that comes about, do you think that would satisfy the protesters?
That's one of the requests, demands in the past. So then, of course, like when the demand is achieved, so then the satisfaction, it brings a satisfaction anyway. So, but the thing is like, to pass the first reading, it means that you have to set up the special committee.
That's right. Scrutinize it.
Yeah. So then, we still have to wait and see of how the result of, because they are the draft of the government, the draft of the opposition party, and several separated articles involved, especially the role of the Senate. So then.
It looks like the students still don't have full trust in the process, right?
Even me,
because some of them see this as a sort of a delaying tactic on the part of some of the government MPs.
The thing is like the process takes time, but the thing is like when you say that the student don't trust the system,
trust, but not a full trust.
not fully trust them, but the thing is like we have to follow the system, because this is the only thing that we will get a new constitution.
That's right.
I mean, apart from staging the coup, but this is the only way that we will get a people constitution. So then, no whether the system is stable or stabilized, we still have to follow this system. So then we have to rely on this system a little bit, but not to fully trust. It means that there are some, how you call it, the opportunities to have like a detour or error in the process, and actually I feel the same.
But overall, you are optimistic that things will turn out happily.
I have hope. Optimistic or not, I'm not sure, but I have hope, because this is the only way that we can proceed. But the thing is like we can try to make some influences or some recommendations, or of course, if for the demonstrators, they can put some pressure on those who are, the party involved in this circumstance. So then that might help.
Thank you very much for watching.